Elvira, Mistress of the Dark here. You know, for movie fans, there's nothing more fun than seeing two legendary Hollywood creatures face off in a vicious, deadly battle to the finish. Who could forget Frankenstein versus the Wolfman? King Kong versus Godzilla? Ted Turner versus Rupert Murdoch? And now there's a new gruesome twosome who are the scariest, the deadliest, the baddest monsters in movie land. No, I am not talking about the Olsen twins. I'm talking about Alien versus Predator. From the darkest reaches of outer space, the extraterrestrial killers of Alien and the malevolent warriors of Predator have been thrilling movie audiences for over 20 years. Although the two didn't clash on the big screen until 2004, they have a long history of battling in comic books, action figures, video games, and collectibles. The inspired teaming of these outer space titans first took shape in 1989 during an executive meeting at Mike Richardson's Dark Horse Comics.
We were in a meeting trying to discuss what kind of a team-up we could do with DC Comics, the publishers of Batman and Superman and many other characters that people are familiar with. And one of our editors said, "We're publishing Aliens, we're publishing Predator, Aliens versus Predator," and everybody's eyes got big.
20th Century Fox, which controls the licensing for both movie franchises, enthusiastically greenlit the Aliens vs. Predator comic book. It quickly became a monster hit.
It's probably the most successful series we've ever done. We've sold millions of copies.
This wasn't the first time savvy marketers had staged a battle between classic movie monsters.
King Kong versus Godzilla, cool. I mean, we can go back to the 40s, Frankenstein versus the Wolfman. There's a great tradition of having really successful monsters and then putting them together.
Special effects and makeup artist Alec Gillis and his partner Tom Woodruff Jr. have worked on the movies and have witnessed the impact of the creatures.
When Alien came along, it was like somebody just punched you in the gut. It was a completely different take on science fiction than I had ever seen.
Woodruff and Gillis helped to create the distinctly terrifying look and personalities of the monsters.
The alien has no eyes, but yet it always can find its prey. And that makes it a formidable creature because you're not sure, you don't know how to combat something that you can't understand. So you really have no way of hiding, no way of outsmarting it.
Predator was an ass-kicking hunter who was ripping people's spines out and, you know, using every cheat he could. He's kind of a bad sport, actually. He'll blow you up. He'll tip the chess table over, which makes him all the more dangerous.
On the heels of the hit Aliens vs. Predator comic book, the 1990 film Predator 2 gave a nod to the pairing of the two monsters by displaying an alien skull in the trophy room of a Predator spaceship. Fans of the two series also gobbled up an endless stream of video games, action figures, and toys featuring the monsters. Screenwriter Willie Goldman started his collection as a teenager.
When I saw Alien, there was just something about that world that was just so real and so functional and dirty and gritty, and I don't know, it was just very sexy. So I went out and I bought an action figure or two. And it was like a snowball rolling downhill. It just grew and grew and grew, and over time, it's mushroomed into this huge sort of collection of Aliens memorabilia. I just think they're two of the most iconic characters created, you know, in the past 20, 30 years. I mean, these monsters are great. I mean, they're scary, they seem real, they seem functional. I mean, the Predator's got those great mandibles that'll just come out and grab you, and, you know, that Alien's got that tongue that'll just, you know, go right into your forehead and take your brain out of your skull. It's just, it's neat, it's visceral, it's fun, it's scary.
Willie's collection includes a pulse rifle designed by James Cameron, director of the 1986 shocker, Aliens.
The pulse rifle seems to be everyone's favorite sort of piece of memorabilia. It was the weapon that the Marines used in the second film when they went in and they fought the alien. Cameron did such an amazing job of inventing this fictional piece of hardware and making it real. And you know, he attached a grenade launcher under it and had a little counter that lit up, and it was just fantastic. I think the most infamous piece is the Kenner Alien action figure. This was an 18-inch tall doll that came out, and when kids went to the stores to see it, apparently it kind of scared them a lot. So as myth and legend goes on to tell, that parents protested and all the toy stores had to yank these guys off the shelves. Well, now on the internet, if you want to buy one, mint in the box, it's like $500 to $1,000. I have a face hugger and a stasis tube that my friend Frank Cierney made for me. It's great. You can fill it with water and it bubbles. It's like a little aquarium. The dropship, personally, is my favorite science fiction craft ever. I'm lucky enough to have gotten my hands on a prototype that Kenner made, which never actually got put into production, but it's just such a wonderful piece. There's a great line of collectibles, these polystone collectibles that Palisades has been doing, and they're just, they feature the Predator in all these wonderful poses. You know, slit up and, you know, bleeding neon green. And those are just really fun.
The concept of aliens versus Predator was also a natural for video games.
I think the video games are great because they really can now plug you into the world of the film. I mean, you really do feel like you're a colonial marine running around these dark corridors, you know, blasting aliens and fighting alongside predators.
As executive producer for Vivendi Universal Games, David Stalker knows firsthand how games like Aliens vs. Predator 2 can trigger the same kind of terror and excitement created by the movies.
It was very important for us to nail that atmosphere, to nail that you know, the visuals, you know, the visual effects that made it look just like the movies. So there's a lot of close scrutiny to the various movies and trying to make sure that things follow logically from what's established in those movies. There's less time taken out for story aspects. It's mostly about action. It's mostly about driving the player forward and exciting them and making them feel emotion, whether it's fear, you know, feeling energized, feeling angry, or you know, just feeling very happy at the experience.
In 2003, after a wait of over 14 years, an Alien vs. Predator movie was finally given a green light to start production.
It's a sequel to Predator and a prequel to Alien, but it's also owes a lot to the computer game and the comic book series, which were very popular. And the fans have been dying to see both those mediums come to life in the form of a motion picture.
So, which extraterrestrial will triumph after their long-awaited confrontation? No matter which space baddie walks away from the battle, it's clear that the fans of Alien vs. Predator are the ultimate winners. This is Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, telling you to watch Monsters HD on Voom. The undead never look so good.